Hi, today we're going to work on some force questions. There will be times we may need to know how to figure out how much force is needed to move an object, or perhaps we know how much force we use, so we would like to figure out what the mass was or the rate of acceleration. So we're going to work on the math today. Keep in mind our formula for force is force equals mass times the acceleration. We're going to use a process to solve this called BLEUS. And BLEUS, the first thing we want to do is bracket the question. So in this case, the first one that we're going to do, it says you push a wagon that has a mass of 12 kilograms. If the net force on the wagon is 6 newtons, what is the wagon's acceleration? So the question we're trying to answer is, what is the acceleration? So we're going to put brackets around the question. Next, the L in BLEUS is list vocabulary and equations. Vocabulary would be acceleration, force, mass, and the formula again would be force equals mass times acceleration. The next thing, we need to underline keywords and numbers. So we want to underline 12 kilograms, 6 newtons. We want to eliminate wrong answers. In this case, we don't have wrong answers to eliminate. We are doing a free answer, so we're not going to worry about the E at this point. And then we need to solve and select the answer. I also make a list. We know that we're looking for the acceleration. We know that we have the force and the mass, so this is the equation that we need. So we're going to list all the variables: force, mass, and acceleration. The force was 6 newtons. The mass was 12 kilograms. And the acceleration is our unknown. That's what we're trying to find. So now we want to plug these numbers into our formula. So force is 6 newtons. The mass is 12 kilograms. And the acceleration is unknown. So now what we need to do is we need to try and solve for A. Well, at the moment, the only thing that we can do, we need to get A by itself. So in order to get A by itself, the 12 is being multiplied times the acceleration. So we need to divide both sides by 12 kilograms. And the 0.5 is going to be, since its acceleration is going to be meters per second squared. Take a second, hit pause if you need to, and we'll move on. So the second question, again, using the BLEUS, the first part of the BLEUS says to bracket the question. And in this case, it says, what is the net force on a dragster with a mass of 900 kilograms if its acceleration is 32 meters per second squared? So what is the net force is our question. Vocabulary and equations. We're going to also list the vocabulary and equations. We've got acceleration again. We have mass. And we have net force. This tells us that the formula we're going to need is force equals mass times acceleration. If we list our variables and acceleration, we know that our mass is 900 kilograms. Our acceleration is 32 meters per second squared. So now we need to calculate our force. So we're going to plug in force equals 900 kilograms, and our acceleration is 32 meters per second squared. So we wind up with, we need a calculator for this. (900) times 32 equals 28,800 kilograms per meter over seconds squared, also known as a Newton. So our force is equal to 28,800 newtons. Okay, and our next question, our next example, a car pulled by a tow truck has an acceleration of 2.0 meters per second squared east. What is the mass of the car if the net force on the car is 3,000 newtons east? So again, we have what is the net force, what is the mass is our question. So we bracket our question. And we're going to list key terms. And again, we've got acceleration, we have mass, and we have force. So knowing those three things, we know that our equation needs to be force equals mass times acceleration. So when we list our variables, force, mass, and acceleration, we know our force is 3,000 newtons. Our masses are unknown. And our acceleration is 2 meters per second. We plug this into our equation, so we have 3,000 equals mass times 2. We need the m by itself. 2 is being multiplied times the m, so we have to divide both sides by 2. So 3,000 divided by 2 is 1,500. And this is in kilograms. Since this was in newtons, then when we look for our mass, it's going to be in kilograms. Please feel free to watch this video for any of the parts. On the back side, you will have, there are 6 practice problems. Set them up this way and you shouldn't have any problems. Have a great day. Thank you.